Our next guest got rich the legal way. Tim Sykes is a self-made millionaire trader and the creator of the Millionaire Challenge.
Timothy Sykes is a 24-year-old hedge fund manager who loves making money.
If you think war is coming, you play energy, you play defense.
You've got a famous story where you use your bar mitzvah money to start everything.
You were given $12,000 bar mitzvah money from your parents. They thought you were going to lose it all, and surprise, surprise, you turned it into like what, $5 million?
Why do you think you were so good at investing?
I'm always focused on the big goal at the end, but I'm taking small profits along the way.
When you look at Jordan Belfort, do you look at him as the GOAT because he's the penny stocks guy?
I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every time.
I respect the fact that he created the penny stock market, but I think he did it in a scammy way.
Was all this legal? Absolutely not.
I like to short sell penny stocks, which is obviously a speculative strategy.
One of my students parking other people's cars turned basically $20,000 into $16 million.
I just made a lot of money this way. My students have made a lot of money this way.
If you don't know how to trade, you don't have a process.
Ladies and gentlemen, Timothy Sykes.
Nice. Which camera am I looking at? I don't even know.
Any camera you want. That's
Right,
the
cool.
main camera. There's secondary cameras there.
I really like this setup.
I appreciate you.
I need to do this.
Content house really on wheels.
That's cool.
So,
it's a good idea. What gave you the idea?
Well, I moved to Dubai and
Where did you move from?
Australia.
Oh, nice.
Perth.
Okay.
And have you been to Perth?
No. I went to the other one, Sydney and
Melbourne.
Melbourne, yeah.
Yeah. Where are you
Melbourne. I'm from Connecticut, small town in Connecticut.
Okay.
But I travel 40, 50 countries a year, so
Yeah.
I live nowhere.
You're always on the road, by the way, because you make money trading.
I make money trading and then I actually donate my trading profits to charity. That makes it more meaningful. I've been trading for 25 years. We have students in like 155 countries. So I visit students. Then I have some new millionaire students. So then we celebrate. I actually have 2 new millionaire students here in Dubai. So we're celebrating a bit.
Nice.
Yeah. So
you made a lot of people millionaires. You're like the modern day lottery.
Well, but with strategy. The lottery is just luck.
Yes,
so it's
true.
much better. It's education. They're making themselves. I'm not making the trades for them. I'm just teaching them and giving them the tools.
Yes. So you are a master trader, I would say.
No.
I mean, I've known you since Australia.
I do good. I do well, but I'm actually really not the best. I have a lot of problems with discipline and over trading. Traveling actually protects me from myself. If I'm in, like I have a base in Miami, if I'm in Miami and I'm like, okay, no jet lag, good Wi-Fi, let's get to work, and I lose. Because I'm like trying to trade. So for me, I need to stay on the road. It's my gift and my curse. I love traveling. But when I'm traveling, I got adventures, I've got charity, I've got students, I love restaurants. So I got a lot of things. And so like trading comes second, and then I do better because I'm not looking to trade. I'll only trade if there's a good play. It's so stupid.
So you're not chasing the market?
Correct.
Yeah. And also, do you have a revenge trade?
Of course. I have so many discipline problems. That's why like we can fill this up for just an hour and you'll be like, okay, by the end of it, you're not a master trader. But like I can teach from my lessons, right? So like in December, the market was on fire. I actually had a red month in December. I lost the entire month.
Wow.
Not like every day, but overall I lost.
Sure.
I zigged when I should have zagged. I zagged when I should have zigged. I was in Bali. We had 2 new schools open. Thailand, Philippines, and Japan for the month. Terrible month to be in Asia because it's opposite time zone. I only trade US stocks. And now in the US stock market, before it was 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. So like, okay, you could do it 6.5 hour trading day. Now you have 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m. runners because the market opens pre-market at 4 a.m. It just opened. And then normal hours, the 6.5 hours, and then also 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern. So a 6.5 hour trading day has turned into a 15-hour trading day.
Do you trade cryptos?
No. I was trying not to trade like 24/7, and then the stock market is basically going 24/7, so I'm just screwed.
Is the market actually going 24/7, the stock market?
I mean, it's 15 hours right now. There's opportunities at all hours of the day. So I'm sleeping less, I'm drinking more coffee. 5 years ago, I didn't even drink coffee.
Wow.
I said, look at these pathetic people. It makes your teeth yellow, you're addicts. Now I'm like waking up and I'm like, I can't help
like
it.
a degenerate,
I say I'm like the alcoholic bartender because I'm a degenerate trader. But I can teach from my mistakes. So like, even though I had a red month in December, students rated my video lessons for the month actually the best month in like a year plus. Because they learned. So they're like, lose more. It's like, no, shut up.
You're always traveling. You are living on a plane all the time.
Yes.
So okay, you've got a famous story
Yeah.
where you use your bar mitzvah money to
Yeah.
start everything.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me, how much money did you get for your bar mitzvah, and what did you turn it into through trading?
So 12 grand into 1.65 million in 4 years, senior year of high school through college. And I'm from a small town in Connecticut, so like Wall Street is like, you only made like $1.5 million, and I'm like, yeah, but that was a lot for me, like as a college freshman and senior in high school. So it was pretty crazy.
Wow.
And it happened very quickly, but it was also right place, right time back in 99 and 2000. This was a while ago, and it just blew my mind. Like I would be, on my, I'd have like in the college dorm in Tufts University where I went freshman year, I'd have like 3 freshmen lined up on the couch, and I was like, yo, watch me make, I'll bet you, watch me make 10 grand in the next hour. I'll bet you $100 each that I can make 10 grand. And they're like, what are you talking about? And then like the market was on fire and I found a pattern, and I would make like 15 or 20 grand in an hour, and they owed me like $300. Like,
wow.
It was stupid. It was surreal.
Yeah.
But right place, right time. That was when the NASDAQ was going from 2,000 to 5,000. My first main strategy, you'll laugh, not buying like quality companies, just buying companies that added .com to their corporate name. So like I remember I bought this camping company, Sportsman's Guide. They changed their name. They put out a press release. We're not Sportsman's Guide anymore selling like camping gear. We're sportsmansguide.com, and we're selling it online. That was the change.
Okay.
They just changed their corporate name, and the stock quadrupled because everyone was excited about the internet.
That's it. Wow.
And I might have done that 100 different times on 100 different companies. Just happened again 20 years later, companies were adding .io to their name, and they're
Yep.
like, we're embracing AI, we're integrating with ChatGPT. History repeats.
We leverage trading.
Never use leverage. I'm pretty conservative. Even when like the stock triples, I usually sell too early. I take like 20-30%.
Okay.
I just take like a quick, like my average gain over 20 plus years is like $2,000.
So, okay. So you're spot trading then. You're buying it, holding it, waiting for the price to increase, and then that. You never leverage.
Nope, correct.
Ah, interesting.
I trade very cowardly. That's why it was funny when you're like, you're a master trader. And I was like, many of my students do better than me, which is why like I'm
Wow.
a teacher. There's a saying, teachers are those that can't do, right? But I have done, I'm just not like great at it.
Those who do will like can.
do it.
Those who
Yeah.
can't teach.
Yeah.
My mom actually teaches
Nice.
teaching, so she can't.
That's cool. I mean, whatever works. Like for me, I see the good and bad. I never had a foundation. I never had a mentor. So I always try to be like the mentor to other people that I never had. So it's actually useful to my students that I'm like such a screw up in terms of my discipline.
Wow.
If I was a perfect disciplinarian and they just wouldn't follow, they'd be like, this is boring. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's very replicable.
So that's your brand. That's you. You're as authentic as it comes.
I just got to be real, you know?
Yeah. You show your fuck ups.
People love the screw ups. They love the screw ups.
Yeah.
And I just like, the other day I lost like 25 grand and I made such a boneheaded mistake. I was like in too big on a speculative position, made a video lesson. It was my most popular video lesson in like 6 months.
Oh
And I
wow.
was just like, okay. So I just have to be real about my wins and my losses.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with like my students. Like, okay, I have 40 plus millionaire students. How did I do that? And we break down every single one of their trades. So it's not just like the lotto. It's the fact that they're doing it very meticulously. So I'm teaching the process. That's what matters the most, more than just the money.
How much are you worth right now? If I was to shake you down, how much money could I squeeze out of you?
I mean, I would say like it's illiquid, but I don't have, frankly, that many assets. Like I bought my parents a few places down in Miami Beach. We combined them.
Yeah.
So, the real estate is probably worth like 5 or 6 million.
Yeah.
And then, roughly like 20 million, maybe 25 million. I don't know. It's not, I donate too much to charity.
Yeah.
Like I actually gave a TED talk in Australia too, where I said, I'll never be a billionaire because I'm always going to donate too much. I've
Wow.
donated $10 million to charity so far.
Wow.
So I'm proud of that.
What's your purpose on doing that?
The purpose of charity? Giving back?
Yeah.
There's so many different causes.
Yes, I know, but there's a lot of people that are wealthier than you, and there's a lot of people that are not wealthy than you, and they're not doing that.
I think you have to find meaning and happiness. So for me, trading is good, but it's a means to an end. Like I've been trading for 25 years now. It's boring. Like you're looking at little flickering red and green lights. I would lose my mind. Most traders who are in the game for like 10, 15 years, like they don't want to trade anymore. Now I donate all my trading profits to charity. I teach people from the process. So I've changed the game. I'm not just trading. Like the money that I make from trading doesn't even go to me. It goes to charity. That gives me meaning. And then teaching the process gives me more meaning. So you know, you can change any industry. Like, you know, as far as I know, you're the only like mobile podcast, right? What made you want to do mobile versus just be in a studio? This is what you want to do. You like it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do what made me feel best. And that's how you change it. If you're just doing things for money, it's a very like superficial, sad life. Like I used to have all the cars. I used to have like a Rolls Royce and a Ferrari and 2 Lambos and like a house, and I got sick of all of it.
Yeah, I love that. I love the way you're living. I would live the same. I would not want a Beverly Hills mansion with a Rolls Royce and go on the Rodeo Drive.
I hated my Rolls Royce. Literally, I was driving it. That was my least favorite of all my cars, and it did best on social media. Everyone's like, take out the umbrella, take out the... I'm like, shut up with the umbrella. I'm in Miami. It's not even raining. They just want to like bring out the umbrella. You just have to find what really suits you. And at the time, I mean, it was my childhood dream. I don't regret having all the cars and like living the luxury life, but it got very old very quickly. So then you change, and now I'm much happier like giving more money away. My finance friends can't understand it. Like, you know, I spend so much time and money on my charity. They're like, so what's the play here? You want to look good, you virtue signaling? I'm like, no, like I show everything, and I just want to be real about it. Like we have 56 schools in Bali. Have you been to Bali yet?
I'm from Australia.
Okay, fantastic.
I'm from Perth as well.
Okay.
West Coast.
Sorry.
I go to Bali.
I forget you're a bogan.
I forget you're a bogan.
But
not a lot of people know that word.
But 56 schools in Bali, and it keeps going. We're actually filming a documentary explaining it all. 123 schools worldwide.
Wow.
Roughly 30,000 plus kids go to our schools every day.
Wow.
Charity schools.
Incredible.
It's like a university spread out all over the world.
Wow.
So that gives me a lot of meaning. Then we help like animal rescue and then disaster relief, whether it's Turkey or America or Australia. All of that just that makes me want to get up in the morning. If I was just trading, I was like, well, let's see how much money I can make today. Like, again, when I look to trade and make money, I lose. So you need to be a little counterintuitive in terms of trading, because trading is not an exact science, and it's very much you versus you in your head. Anybody can make good trades. There's so many setups, but are you disciplined to take the right trades? Sometimes you want to make so much money, you're like, okay, here's a trade, let me take it. Turns out to be a bad setup. Then there's another trade that you're missing because you're in the bad setup because you wanted it too much. If you were just patient and you waited, you would have been in that good setup. So it's like very frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, of course. Listen, trading is a mental game. It's an emotional game.
Well, especially I trade penny stocks, so there's not even always a play every day. Like I'm not trading Facebook options or like, you know, or Meta options or Apple, where there's a lot of volatility and liquidity every day. With penny stocks, with low price stocks, you have to really wait for the right setups. Those are the odds that you have to wait for. You can't just trade randomly.
So you don't trade cryptos?
Nope, no crypto.
Never have?
Nope.
Do you hold crypto?
Nope, no crypto. The stock market versus crypto regulations are very like fighting each other. You can't do both in America. I know internationally it's fine, like we're here in Dubai, so you can do whatever you want.
It's crypto city,
in America, there's very strict regulations, and I don't want that. And then I also have so many imposters, they all scam people with crypto. So like, for me, it's very easy to say, like, when people message me, they're like, I'm DMing you, like, I know how you make your money, you scam people with crypto. I'm like, guys, I don't do crypto. I always say I don't do crypto. I think that it's volatile and it's good for trading. I've heard some of my students use the same patterns on crypto, but you know, there's so many scams and regulations are a problem. I wish that the crypto industry would spend money on like regulating itself and policing itself, but that's not going to happen. I don't know if you saw it just the other day. This lady gave like Brad Pitt imposter like $850,000.
I've seen that.
So there's so many scammers, and they almost all use crypto because it's all gray area.
So this lady created Brad Pitt AI.
She thought she was helping cancer-stricken Brad Pitt, but somebody created an AI making Brad Pitt like cancer images, and she fell for it. She gave the scammer $850,000 apparently.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's just one example. I get so many sob stories. People are like, I'm talking to Tim Sykes 4375. I was like, why would you think that's me? Right? Like they're not even using like proper English. So anybody can be anybody. And so they're like, you don't even trade stocks, you trade crypto. So it's very easy for me to say, just I don't want anything to do with that, you know, whole scam industry. I'd missed out. I mean, it's gone up the most, but I trade crypto stocks. So
okay, got ya.
It's not like I'm missing out entirely on the sector.
Got ya. No, you're not missing out. Listen, you're 25 years old and you're young, and listen, back to my point, what I was saying, I would do it exactly like you.
No, I've been trading for 25 years. I wish I was 25 years old.
How old are you?
44.
Wow.
Yeah. I wish I was 25.
Oh.
I was gonna let that slide, but then I was
You
like,
look good.
I can't. Thank you.
You look good.
When you have meaning in your life and you do what you love, I mean, I'm from a small town in Connecticut. I dreamt of like traveling the world, could never afford to travel anywhere when I was growing up. I had pictures of like cars and like, you know, famous landmarks that I wanted to visit. Now I've done it all.
81?
81.
81.
Yeah. The year of the cock.
I did a podcast with John Lee 30 minutes ago.
Who's John Lee?
You've probably seen his face, but he's also the same age as you.
Cool.
So we are having, let's see if you know this face.
Nope.
No, AI.
What does he do? Oh, really?
Yeah, AI.
Is that really even a person then, or is it just like it'd be like, gotcha?
Yeah, I was touching it. It was going through.
They have those new robots where they look very humanistic.
Very realistic.
Yeah.
So, okay, I would do exactly like how you would do it, is what I was saying, okay? Like I wouldn't be doing the whole mansions and the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis, whatever. I would literally be living in a villa in Bali, then I would go to Vietnam, then I'd go to Thailand, then I'd go to Costa Rica, whatever it is.
All great countries.
Yeah, just...
But I think that I don't regret my materialistic days because it's like you learn what you shouldn't do. Just like I don't regret my losses. Like everyone's like, oh my God, especially in the beginning when they're first learning trading, they're like, I made a mistake here, I'm such an idiot, because they're chasing perfection.
Yeah.
When in fact, the losses teach you what not to do. So they're part of your education. You don't have a well-rounded education without the mistakes and the losses. So like, if I was just going straight into this life, I might be curious. I might be like, oh, I'm jet lagged, I'm so tired. Like maybe I should just settle down, and then maybe I'd have to go opposite, right? So I'd travel all the time, and then I go to the mansion, then maybe go back.
Yeah.
I think that everyone's a trader. I think you always have to be optimizing your process. There's no mistakes. It's all part of your journey. And in fact, if you ask any of my 40+ millionaire students, every single one of them will say that their early losses and mistakes were crucial in their education. If you don't lose, and frankly, this is what prevented me from making more money, I didn't lose for a very long time because I got started in 99 and 2000. I was like, this is so easy. I was like a spoiled like trust fund kid in the market. I didn't know how good I had it because I had no perspective.
Yeah.
And that has hurt me all the time. So I always try to give my students perspective. So like when they're losing, especially in the beginning, I say, welcome to the game. Like if you're too early on a stock and then it spikes later, be a little later. If you're too late on a stock, wake up earlier, right? So like you're always learning from what you do wrong and then you get better. And that's how like you really optimize your process.
Interesting.
In life and in trading.
Yeah, because there's a lot of correlation between life and trading.
100%, you know?
Do you know Sheldon the Sniper?
Yeah.
He's like a crypto trader, right? And he says I look at life as a chart. If it's too up and too bullish, I'm suspicious. There's going to be a downfall, there's going to be a drawback.
Yeah.
There's going to be some consolidation.
Yeah.
And when I know we're at the bottom and we're in like a bearish phase, I know there's only one way to go up.
Yeah. Although I think life differs a little bit from trading, where if you have the wrong mentor, if you have the wrong strategy, or no mentor or no strategy, you're not just gonna get on like an upswing randomly. You need to earn any upswing, right? So in the stock market, usually you go back and forth. Like when things are down too much, you'll get an upswing just because like, you know, the valuations are too good and people will dip buy. But that's because like the world economy has been growing, the US has been growing, crypto's growing. We're in a very bullish trend over the past few decades. So we're relying on that. In life, you don't have a bullish trend. Like if you're an alcoholic, a drug addict, you haven't put in time with your studies, you have no skill set, you're not just gonna suddenly do better. Even if you win the lotto, most lotto winners still go broke because they don't have like the financial means or, you know, recognition to handle the money. There's a saying, a fool and his money are soon parted. So even if you make money in a lucky way, like you buy one of these shit coins and you just ride it and you're just too stupid to even like take profits along the way, and then it goes up exponentially, you're probably still gonna lose it somehow.
Yeah.
So you need education.
Yeah, correct. I mean, you look at all the stimulus that the government gave everyone during COVID, the money went straight to the top again.
I mean, it's the problem is that people always think about money and they don't think about the process. So I always tell my students when they first start trading, I'm like, if they're like, oh, I want to start with $20,000 or $50,000, I was like, start with $5,000. Because most of them are going to lose in the beginning. It's better to lose small with a small account while you're learning. there's a learning curve, right? I can't guarantee that I'm going to teach anybody to be a millionaire. I guarantee that I'll speed up your learning curve with lessons. And then those lessons will add up. I say actually people have two accounts, their knowledge account and their brokerage account. People only think about their brokerage account like, how do I make money? How do I make money? Not how do I get smarter? How do I get better prepared? How do I become wiser so that if you have enough knowledge, I say that it kind of flows over to your brokerage account because you're just so wise. But very few people think that way. They just want money. And money kind of corrupts it. It's like, okay, I'll study after I get a hot pick. Prove yourself, Tim. Give me a hot pick. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. There could be a perfect play, but if you don't know how to trade, you don't know the position size, you don't know how to enter, you don't know how to take profits, you don't know how to cut losses quickly, you don't have a process. But people in gambling just want to gamble. They love gambling. They love the thrill. They love hot stock picks, right? Like, give me a stock pick. And they just want to ride it with no plan. And it's fun to cheerlead, but it's actually financially disastrous. So,
how do you control your greed? How do you control your greed when it goes up? And do you think so? Oh, I can go more. Can go more.
I mean, I always set a plan before I risk any money. Like, you know, I tell my students, like, I'm doing Watchlist every day, I'm doing video lessons, I'm doing webinars. So before I enter a trade, oftentimes the trade is predicted in a Watchlist ahead of time. I say, okay, I'm looking for a breakout at this level. If it breaks this level, then I'm looking for it to like spike maybe another 15 or 20%. Then I'll take profits. And you judge where to take profits based on like past performance of the stock. Like stocks have characteristics. So if, let's say a stock is broken out to new highs like 10 times in the past 2 years, you look at how much it broke out each of those 10 times, and then you say, what do you think this 11th potential breakout will be, right? So usually a stock breaks out 10, 15, maybe 20%, and then comes down. 10, 15, 20% comes down. So if it's done it 10 times, you can pretty much say, it's probably gonna do it again. Let me take profits before it goes down. Sometimes the breakouts can be bigger, like quantum computing has been huge lately in terms of stock market performance. The actual uses of quantum computing is debated, right? But some people say it's like decades away. But the stocks went up, I mean, many of the stocks I was buying in the 1s and 2s went up to the 10s, 15s, 20s within a few days. So you can't always judge how a breakout is gonna be, but I usually just play it safe. A lot of the time I take like 15, 20%, I make my $2,000, and then the stock triples like same day. But I'm like, I'm a teacher. What can you do? You know, that's my little disclaimer. I'll always play it safe because I'm never gonna teach people to be too aggressive. Right? I'd rather just lock in profits because I know I've built a very good life just making $1,500, $2,000 a day. You don't need $50,000 in a day or $1 million in a day like people think. People want to go for home runs. I'm teaching them to take singles. Like baseball.
Got ya. It sounds like to me you trade more micro than macro. You're looking at every day, 2,000 profit, 2,000 profit.
Yeah, it adds up. I mean, sometimes I go bigger. I mean, I've had $100,000 days. I'll take bigger size when there's an opportunity. But it averages to about $2,000.
Got ya.
And I think that most people can take the small gains. It's also about like teaching a strategy that's replicable. It doesn't matter what I can do. It's what can the students do. Like, there's a lot of people who are smarter than me in math, and they have very complicated strategies that work well for them, and they're quants, and they manage, you know, hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. Can the average person do it? Hell no. So I teach for the average person, because I'm an average person. I'm not that smart. I'm not that good at math. And you gotta know your limitations.
Well, there is something different about you than other people.
Well, I have experience, and, you know, I was a philosophy major, so I think different.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
You are living the perfect life. You are living, you're traveling the world, you're making money on your laptop, you're like, where should I go next? Like, honestly, you have died and you're in heaven. Yeah,
I've planned it though. Like it's taken me a while to get here. So like you're catching me at, like if I was a stock, you're catching me at my highs. So it's like, you know, just like you were saying, like when things are too good, like something's gonna happen that's bad. But here's the thing. I'm talking about like everyday stuff that's going good. If you zoom out on your chart, you're going up. You know why you're going up? Because you're helping people. You're doing charity, and God likes you, right? But on the everyday scale, there's ups and downs, correct? But if you zoom the
out,
overall trend, it's because I'm like living, like, you know, I fine-tuned my life to what I feel is my purpose, right? Like years ago, if we had done this interview years ago, I would have had more money you know, for my age, and I wouldn't have necessarily had as much happiness because I wasn't donating. Or you go back even further, before I started the charity like 6 years ago, I've been teaching for 15 years. So the charity was 6 years, and the past 6 years has been fantastic, but that was built on top of teaching for 15 years. So if we were doing this 16 years ago, not that we would have had the technology, but before I got into teaching, before I got into charity, I had money, I had more success given my early age, but very unhappy. So like, I think you need to build different pillars part of your life to make yourself happy. Money helps because it gives you freedom to try different things. Most people are just missing money. Like, it doesn't matter what you want. Like, hey, I want to travel the world. Yeah, good luck.
Where's your favorite place to go?
Everyone always asks, like, what's one place or what's your favorite place? So Japan for food, history and culture and nature. Dubai for, you know, adventure and business meetings. And food. The food scene is blowing up here.
Yep.
Greece for food and nature and relaxation. Italy for food, relaxation.
It's all food.
South Africa for food. It is food everywhere.
Food again.
South Africa for food, but also adventure and charity. A lot of African countries are for charity. Like, there's no charity here in Dubai, right? So like, we've tried to do charity in different countries. We're in 42 different countries now.
Wow.
So like Cambodia, Nepal, Indonesia, Philippines, Guatemala, Laos.
Answer the question, Tim.
Yeah.
What's your favorite place?
Japan.
Japan, number one.
100%. Tough time zone though.
Tough time zone.
For stock market, because it's the U.S. stock market opens around 11 p.m. So I'm like trading all night.
So you're more out of the U.S. than you are in the U.S.
100%.
So you're more. How many months in a year would you spend in America?
Probably about half if you add it all up. But like, even when I'm in America, it's like sometimes I go to Vegas, sometimes Miami, New York. You know, sometimes I just take like a vacation in the middle of nowhere. Like I used to. A few years ago, before my business got bigger and there were more students and more things to do, I would always take a month for myself every year. I spent a month in Naxos, Greece, which is a small island. I spent a month on Turks and Caicos. Spent a month in Madrid. I need to get back to that. That's one thing that I haven't done lately. Now, like, I flew in from Bali the other day. I did Bali to Boston to Bali because I had to go back to Boston to film something with one of my students, which is crazy. I had a new Millionaire, so I had to like celebrate with him. Boston, back over to Bali for another new school, then here, Dubai. Then next week I'll be in Paris for Fashion Week, then over to London, then over to Miami for a few days. Then I got a friend's wedding in Mexico. Then I go from Mexico to the Philippines.
Wow.
So it's like, just crazy.
Do you fly economy?
No.
Always business?
Well, I mean, small flights, like if
I get it,
fine.
yeah, international.
But like if it's international, like where it's like 9 hours or 10 hours, if I can sleep, I'll do business class. Shout out Flight King, he gets me all my flight deals on business class.
Okay.
I'll introduce you
at a
if you
discount?
like.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be like, look, if you're successful, it's good to spend, but like you also still have to be like financially responsible. I'm not just gonna like, hey, throw it here. Like airlines and big companies have enough money.
Of course.
Flight King always saves like 30, 40, 50% on business class.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good deal.
Okay. I asked you where is the best place. Said here for food, there for food, there for food. Are you single?
It's true. Yeah, I'm married to food. I'm married to my job.
What about women?
What about women?
Well, if somebody asked me that question and I was living in your shoes, I'd say, listen, beautiful women in Brazil, beautiful women. I would say women instead.
Yeah, but there's beautiful women everywhere. I'm just not that like. I'm not that superficial. Like I've met so many beautiful women, but it's not like, hey, I just want to like be with every beautiful woman. Like there's more to it, right? Like I was almost married. I was engaged once upon a time and it was very good, but I was heading more into charity and travel and she wanted to stay in one place. Like I understand I'm crazy the way that I live, like literally in a different city, like every week or so. It's not like, hey, it sounds fun, but it's like, it does take a toll after a while. So it's tough when, I'm traveling all over the world and it's like, people are like, hey, stay in one place. Like, what are you running from? But like, I find that I'm built different where if I stay in one place, I'm running away from what I really like. So most people are like, if you travel, you have to run away. Like you're like, oh, let me get away and clear my head. If I stayed in one place, that would go counter to what I really feel. So I got to do what I feel is right for me, which is traveling, whether it's for charity or filming or just adventure or food, stuff like that. So I have friends everywhere. Like it's cool, but it's tough to have like, you know,
A relationship, because you're always traveling.
Yeah, 100%.
Are you fulfilled? Do you have a fulfilled life, or do you sit in business class sad sometimes?
No, I'm really not that sad that much. I'm more motivated because I have 40 millionaires. We have 123 schools, but I want 1,000 schools. I want 1,000 millionaires. So I'm like thinking, what more can I do to really fulfill this? Like, we have 3 documentaries that are half finished. I have 3 books that are half written. Like, I need to come through. Those are my goals this year.
Okay.
And I need to be healthier too, because like I like food sometimes. My weight goes up and down like Seth Rogen. You know, like literally right now I'm a little overweight. So when people see me, they're like, "You look like that celebrity," and I'm like, "Yeah, you Seth Rogen." They're like, "Yes."
Yeah.
When I'm thin, they're like, "You know, you look like that celebrity." I'm like, "Who?" And they're like, "Ben Affleck." So I can tell based on what celebrity people say I look like how fat or thin I am. Right now I'm Seth Rogen.
Well, the thing is, when you fly...
Although Rogan has lost a lot of weight lately. So.
Well, when you travel as much as you do, because I used to travel like you, right, for 3 months. When it gets hot here, I travel all the time, right? I'm never here.
I tried to do photo shoots here in August. The camera lens and my glasses kept fogging up. That was a mistake.
When we open the door for a guest to come in, we have to get a tissue and wipe down all the cameras, just like that.
Where do you go in the summer?
Europe.
Nice.
Actually, I did America, so everywhere.
Cool.
So when that season comes around, I gain a lot of weight because you're in business class lounges. Like, you're in the lounge eating food because you grew up poor, and then you're getting on the plane, you're eating food.
That's true.
Because you grew up poor.
100%.
Right? It's like you still don't think to yourself, no, I'm full.
So that's what I think happened in the Turkish Airlines business class lounge, because I was working on my laptop, but I did get up. I don't know if you've been to that business class lounge in Istanbul.
No.
Delicious. It's like probably the best food in the world.
Wow.
So I got up like 3 times. I think when I got up, someone just like saw like, wait a minute, look at this Seth Rogen guy is going to eat again.
Sucker.
Know? So I don't know whether it was they saw it like when I was with my laptop or when I was really eating, but I was, you know, I'm so focused.
Yeah. How do you make money? Because you've got these millionaires, right? 40 millionaires plus.
Yeah.
Do you charge them? What do you do? Like, do you teach them and you charge for your service?
Yeah. So, you know, I basically have like this online academy where like you have different levels. You choose your dedication, whether you want daily watch lists, whether you want alerts, whether you want webinars. And now my millionaire students, like half a dozen of them are giving webinars too. So it's kind of cool where like I used to give, I don't know, 7, sometimes 10 webinars a week, and I was like losing my mind. Now I give like 2 to 3, and then the millionaire students are giving like 7 to 10. So they're sharing my lessons, but with their own unique take.
Got ya.
So everyone's a little different, right? So like, even though we're trading similar stocks with similar like strategies, people have different strengths and weaknesses. I have the patience of an ant, so I'm in and out of stocks in like a few minutes or a few hours. My best strategy is buying a stock on a Friday, selling on a Monday. The only reason why it works so well is because I'm forced to hold over the weekend because the stock market's closed.
Yeah.
So that helps me. Many of my students trade more aggressively with bigger size, and they hold longer because they've been taught well and they work well for them.
Yeah. Okay, so that's how you make your cash flow, and then the money that you make from trading, you give straight to charity.
Yeah, 100%.
Good for you.
It's good.
Good for
but
you.
I trade with a small account, so like I wouldn't trade with a big account because I'm on weak Wi-Fi. I have hardly any sleep. You know, like I don't know what's going to happen, so it's not good for me to trade big. Many of my students, like Jack Kellogg, he's one of my students, found me on YouTube, used to be a valet, parking other people's cars. So he'd sit there parking somebody's car, get like a $5 tip. In between, he's watching my YouTube videos.
Wow.
Studied his butt off. Now he's turned basically $20,000 of valet tips into 16 million. Or 15.5 million right now. And he just, the past 2 months, he made 1.4 million in December and $1 million in November because the market has just been on fire.
Wow.
So he's focused, but he's going to bed at 8 p.m. The U.S. stock market closes at 8 p.m. Eastern. He bought his own house up in New Hampshire. This is why I went back to like Boston to film with him. But literally goes to bed at 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m., right when the market closes. Wakes up 2:33 a.m. to prepare for the 4 a.m. open every single day. And then he's in front of his computers every single day, 24, not 24/7, but like literally like 15/7.
Yeah, and
even on weekends, he's like, he's reviewing his trades, and then now he's also teaching, and so he's giving students webinars and making video lessons and watch lists.
Wow.
So he just loves it. But again, he did like this tweet a few days ago where it was like 7 years ago when he was like dead broke, and he was like trying to sell pillows in a mall. He also bought these bamboo pillows from China, and he thought he was going to sell them in the mall. That didn't work out. So like 7 years ago, he's broke. Now he's got 15 million. He's only like 25.
Yeah, incredible.
But like, that's what I want more of. But he's so crazy dedicated. I took him to Dubai. He actually loved Dubai last year.
Wow.
His whole family was like, I don't know about the Middle East. Like, I was like, this place is like nicer than anything. Like, but they don't understand. This is like U.S. like people thinking like Dubai is like regular Middle East, which is not.
Yeah, no. But that stigma is just slowly going away. I'm seeing a lot of people here from America, celebrities and stuff like that.
I mean, Dubai, I used to hate coming here. I would come here for conferences or meetings and I was like, oh, this fake Disneyland wannabe city. But it's growing so fast, and like, because you guys are so welcoming of immigrants, there's so many different cultures, and it's become like this melting pot, like this new New York.
Exactly.
America and
I was about
Europe,
to say that.
America and Europe don't want any immigrants. There's a whole immigrant problem.
Yeah.
So Dubai's like, here, come here. We won't pay you very much, but you'll be safe. And so people are like, okay.
Yeah, like New York. New York's a melting pot of different cultures.
New York, I mean, I lived in New York for 7 years. It was beautiful. But now it's just turned, like, we have political problems in the U.S. and
everyone's woke.
Just woke, and then you have crime and you have pollution. Like, it's just not healthy.
I don't know what's going on with men in New York. I saw a guy with a drop-dead gorgeous woman, but he was wearing like a handbag, and he wasn't gay because they were holding hands, but it was wearing it's a very feminine bag.
I mean, there's a lot of guys who are like American celebrities and they're wearing dresses, and it's like they're, you know, this is like the new masculinity.
Yeah.
I mean, America's all over the place. So I don't judge, you know, that's America. America is like, you know, you can be anything you want to be. It's like ultimate freedom of expression.
Yeah.
For me, the problem is the crime, the pollution, you know, there's just so many problems, so many inequality issues.
I have a controversial question and a personal
Whatever
question.
you like.
Have you ever thought about renouncing your U.S. citizenship passport to avoid tax?
No, because, you know, for me, I know that there's better like tax situations, but I've also known a lot of people who have moved to different places for taxes. And as much as you want to save on taxes, like I don't like paying, you know, millions of dollars in taxes. At the same time, it's like your quality of life. And, you know, frankly, my whole business is based in the U.S. Like all the whole team is there. Like we have offices in the U.S. Like it's a U.S. business. Moving everybody to like Dubai or like Cyprus or like the Cayman Islands or something, I mean, it's just not worth it. It's quality of life too. So I think it's kind of a luxury to be able to pay taxes and not do that. I know people who have moved, like Puerto Rico is zero taxes, so a lot of traders move to Puerto Rico.
Yep.
I've been to Puerto Rico, not a big fan of Puerto Rico.
Really? Why?
It's okay. It's just like a lesser quality of life. You know, like they have blackouts. They don't have a lot of money, right? So a lot of these places, they offer tax incentives to get people to go, but like they don't have necessarily the benefits. So I'm focused on like growth, right? So like you can do two things, and I know from people who they save on taxes, but their businesses stop growing because they're in a place where like everyone's looking for like little loopholes and stuff like that. And it's a different mindset versus like, I mean, obviously Dubai has tax incentives, but everyone that I meet is interested in growth and growing their business. You know, a lot of the biggest cities that I travel to, it's all about how do you grow? And if you keep focusing on growth, the taxes are just, you know, part of it. It doesn't really matter. I'm sure there's a way to be more efficient. You know, like I could grow my wealth much more. I'm like not tax efficient. I actually donate too much. You can only donate a certain % of your income to charity.
Wow.
My accountant always yells at me every year. He's like, you know, you can't write all of this off. And I'm like, it's fine. I donate too much, but I like that. That's a luxury, right?
Yeah.
Like you can spend money on whatever you want. Like, you know, you like a car, you get that car. Is it a good investment? No, because it like depreciates, but whatever. If you enjoy it, it's worth it. So for me, charity is my luxury.
Well, that's the real wealth, isn't it? That's the real happiness.
Well, when you get to choose what you want to spend your money on. You have to remember, most people are just in the rat race trying to pay their bills. They're in debt. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They hate their job, but they can't quit their job because they need to pay. So like, if you can escape that rat race, if you can get off the wheel, like you have everyone like little rats on a wheel. If you can escape the wheel and then you're looking back and you're looking at everybody on the wheel and you're like, ugh, that's rough. That's most people. If you can actually make money, do what you want to do, that's all gravy. Whatever, everything else is gravy. But even if I lost all my money, some people will say like, what if you lose all your money? What would you do? Your whole world is like, you know, focused on your wealth. I mean, I would start over and I would recreate my wealth. Like that's the beautiful thing about having a process. Like take all my money, God forbid, if that happens, it really wouldn't be the end of the world because I have self-sufficiency, I have knowledge.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you I will get back the millions in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of having a process and a strategy rather than winning the lotto and depending on luck or a bubble.
I truly believe, doesn't matter what society you're in, a man that has a certain amount of value or a woman that has a certain amount of value, the market will always pay that value, wherever it is.
Yeah.
So you lose everything, your value remains the same, the market will
Your
then...
skill set.
Correct.
So you can put a price on your skill set versus like, okay, you look at how much I've made over the years in terms of trading, in terms of teaching, other businesses creating value for my millionaire students. There's a way to quantify all that. That has a value, especially going forward.
Yeah.
So like if you value companies based on, companies are based on forward earnings, like how much can a company make? Like it doesn't matter if you have a company like Kodak, which was like one of the world's biggest companies decades ago, what can they do now, right? Like Polaroid was like, they invented photography basically. But now going forward, what are they worth? Not much. So you value companies based on forward earnings. You can also value people on forward earnings and forward, value. So for me, because I have a skill set that's not dependent on any one sector or like, I've been through bear and bull markets. It doesn't matter. I make money in bull and bear markets. There's a way to value that. I don't know what the value is. If I, God forbid, lost all my money, I'd have to earn it. It's not like money's just going to fall into my lap again.
Yeah.
But I have the skill set to get it. And frankly, every time I have a loss, I get more motivated to make it back because I'm like, I'm not going down like this.
Revenge trade.
Revenge trade. I mean, sometimes you have to like take a day off or like take a beat, but like, I want to make it back. I want to prove to myself. There's a saying like, you're only as good as your last trade.
Yeah.
So it really sucks sometimes where you get too aggressive. Like I've been on fire the past few months, and then December I got too aggressive, brought me back down. The market humbled me, which was good. I needed it. Now in January, I'm back up again.
How do you make money in the bear market if you don't leverage trade?
So first of all, no one should ever use leverage. I know this is like a common thing in Dubai, and a lot of people are like, come on, push it. No, stop that. Stop that gambling crap. You can make money in any market with different strategies. So for me, I used to short sell a lot. I used to bet against companies. I bet on lower prices. In a bear market, most stocks are dropping, so I would short sell. I haven't short sold anything in 3 years because it's a raging bull market and short selling is frankly very risky right now. But if the market were to turn, let's say quantum computing, for example, where these companies have zero revenue, they have this new technology that might be good or useful for something in 5, 10, maybe 15 years. No one can even say when the technology is going to be ready, and they're valued in the billions. So if I were to short sell, I would start with that, and I would make money as they come down, because in bear markets, a lot of these speculative plays will just crash. Crypto, everyone thinks it can no longer go down, like it's reached some kind of critical mass. It can go down, it can crash. If the momentum were to flip, if Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy were ever forced to like liquidate his Bitcoin holdings, which could happen, I know it's not high odds, everything would flip. All the momentum would implode and, you could see Bitcoin under 10,000 again.
Wow.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm just saying, like, everyone always gets too cocky where it's like, this investment will never go down again.
Yeah.
When you do that, when you say this time it's different, that's usually when you're set for a fall. They always say this time it's different. Those are the 4 most expensive words in the English language. This time it's different. And then like flash forward, like 2 years later. Yeah. And then it's like they're homeless living on the street, right? So like you can never get too cocky. This is kind of the beautiful thing about the market. If you ever make too much, if you use leverage and you go all in and you're like, I'm 100% sure, the market will humble you in a very expensive way. I know a lot of traders where they've made good gains, but then their ego takes over and they bet bigger and then they lose most or everything in one bad trade or like one bad month or something.
Damn.
So there's justice.
We are 5 years overdue for a crash.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen, right? Like, so like, you might not say this time it's different, but like, there is ridiculous technological gains, whether it was mobile internet and, the whole mobile economy and now the crypto economy. Like, technology is driving everything. Like NVIDIA, the AI revolution is here. NVIDIA stock is up like huge. And that's going to make businesses more efficient. Like, Amazon has 1 million+ robots. Do you know this? They have a whole civilization of robots, 1 million+ different robots in all their factories.
Wow.
If they ever unionize, like, we're screwed, right?
It's done.
But like, you know, you can say that we're overvalued, we're due, but you usually need some catalyst for that to happen, right? So like a lot of people are like, oh, the California wildfires. Yeah, but like, I mean, there's not much like that was damaged business-wise in terms of California. Maybe the entertainment industry, but that's mostly just ego and like superficial stuff anyway. So it doesn't really impact the U.S. economy.
Well, it's going to hit insurance companies.
Yeah, but I mean, they're prepared for that. They have formulas galore. I mean, it's really, if crypto crashes, if real estate crashes, that's usually what precedes like a big market crash and like a depression.
Sure.
You know, back in like the 1929 crash, people don't know this. People think like, okay, the stock market crashed in 1929 and that led to the depression 1932 to like 1940. But I actually read this great book called Bubble in the Sun, how like Miami was created. I love history books. And more people were speculating on Miami and Florida than were invested in the stock market. And Miami crashed. There was like a hurricane and like everything was like planned poorly. So that actually preceded the stock market crash, which added to the you know, sadness of people and like the poverty, and that probably led to the depression.
Wow.
So, you know, what needs to implode? I mean, what's the number one thing that so many people are speculating on? Crypto. So if crypto implodes, then we might have some severe issues. But will crypto implode? I don't know. That's a guessing game, and I don't bet on guessing games.
So you don't know. You don't know when the crash is coming, or if it's coming, or
Correct.
if it's looming.
I just stay ready. So like, you don't have to expect a crash. You don't have to bet on a crash, but you have to recognize that it can happen.
It can happen.
So if you keep your mind just open to anything happening, it's really tough to lose.
Yeah.
But if you're like, this can never happen, this is not gonna happen, that's when you're, you know, just ready to potentially crash.
Yeah.
So I'm open, and if it happens, it happens. But you know, this is part of the reason why I stay so liquid, because I just don't really believe in a lot of these long-term holdings. I do think that we are due for a crash, but I gave up short selling 3 years ago, because if I was a short seller and I was like, scam, overvalued, you know, fart coin is worth $1.5 billion.
As it should.
Right? I would be broke, or maybe poor, or definitely very bitter. Instead, I recognize that the market is built on hype and that things are going up, and I just ride the trend for as long as it lasts. If you just ride the trend, like, life is so much easier. If you fight the trend, that's when there's a problem. Because there's people out there on like social media and like people at conferences, and they're like, this is coming, hell is coming, we're gonna pay for our sins. And it's like, okay, maybe, but like, if that happens, we're all screwed. Like, who cares if you're like, I told you so, we're all going to hell. Okay, congrats, you're right. What do you win?
Yeah.
Nothing.
So when you say you're going to ride a trend, if it's making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, you're basically riding that trend down.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's riding the trend up. So it's like whatever sector is hot, whether it's quantum computing. It's not that I believe in quantum computing. The stocks are just going higher, so I ride them up with a recognition that it could crash. Like, it's not like I say that this is amazing. Like with crypto stocks, I don't believe in crypto. I recognize that they could crash, but at the same time, I'm just going to ride it higher as long as the trend is intact.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can use moving averages. There's a thing called the VWAP, which is the volume weighted average price. And if a stock or an asset holds above the volume weighted average price, momentum traders will hold it.
Yeah.
If it breaks below the VWAP, I get out. It's very simple.
Yeah.
But you just have to like be willing to be conservative, which most people don't want to do. They want to go for home runs. They want like absolutes.
Yeah.
I don't believe in absolutes in trading.
Well, there's no absolutes in trading. It's all uncertain.
It's uncertain.
But it's calculated uncertainty.
Well, but it's adaptation, right? So like it's the same thing like with, if I ever get bored of charity, right now I'm doing a lot of charity because it fulfills me. But if for some reason I'm bored of it, I just stop doing it. You just have to keep like your antennae out and be very receptive. Like what makes you happy, what makes you money. And if it doesn't make you money, if it doesn't make you happy, just change. Yeah. The world is so fascinating. Like we live in the most fascinating time in human history because of technology, because of education. You can learn anything on the internet. We have, you know, new technology like this. You're living proof. Yeah. You have so much knowledge, and you can choose, and you can kind of like pick and choose like what kind of life you want and what you want to learn. Yeah. Like I encourage people to go down the rabbit hole on YouTube. Just click videos that you want to learn from, and you'll learn so much. Yeah. You know, obviously you have to watch out for a little misinformation, but like if you're so obsessed with education, you'll be shocked at what you can achieve within a short period of time. Shorter period of time than ever before possible.
Yeah.
But no one has ever had this much information at their fingertips 100%. Before.
Can you imagine back in the day, how much scams there would be on the streets because this guy says he can do this, he can do that. Now we can
I mean,
just Google
Wolf
it.
of Wall Street was pre-internet. I don't know if you
Yeah.
know that. I did his podcast, and like I was telling him how the penny stock market, which he basically invented, has evolved, and he had no idea how it works now.
When you look at Jordan Belfort, do you look at him as the GOAT because he's the penny stocks guy?
I mean, he's like the Godfather, right? Like literally the Godfather. If you watch Godfather 1 and Godfather 2, like Michael, Vito Corleone created something, then Michael kind of turned it a little darker. You have to respect the creation, but you don't necessarily respect how the Godfather ends. Same kind of thing with Jordan Belfort. I respect the fact that he created the penny stock market and frankly the seminar market, but I think he did it in a sleazy way. In a scammy way. He still owes his victims $100+ million, and he created an Australian company, and now somehow his income in Australia doesn't apply to the U.S. victims.
That's right.
So he's a career criminal. I would expect nothing less. It's not like, hey, I found God, I'm going to be honest all of a sudden.
Yeah.
He's doing what he always does.
Yeah.
So you can't blame him.
Well, you're not going to be invited to his podcast anymore.
I already did his podcast. There's nothing. He literally didn't even understand how the penny stock market works these days. I'm explaining to him. I was like, Jordan Belfort, but he was pre-internet. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Pre-internet versus now with the internet, like you have so much more information.
Yeah.
A few decades ago, a few centuries ago, the smartest person in your town might have read one book.
Yeah.
Right? And it was probably a book of fiction or the Bible.
Yeah.
And now you can read anything any day. I mean, I got like 600 books on my Kindle. Like I'm reading this stuff on the airline all the time. So like people just need to invest time and money into their education, and then it pays off many times over.
Yeah.
Stop watching Netflix, stop playing video games, stop like trying to escape your reality. Instead, study up and build your reality. Then you can have like the dream life too.
Yeah.
I'm not special. I just really like put in so much time, and I was obsessed with education, just like all my top students.
Yeah. Tim Sykes, ladies and gentlemen, what a brain, what a character. Everything that comes out of your mouth is like viral worthy. Right?
Yeah, we'll take this, give this to my team, we'll chop it up, we'll put shorts.
Yeah.
I just love sharing my experiences because anybody can do this. Anybody can be a top trader, anybody can create their dream life, anybody can travel the world. Like, it's amazing what you can do, but people have these self-limiting beliefs. They have negative, toxic people in their lives. Weed out toxic people, weed out your self-doubt. Once you learn enough and you become so educated, you'll get more confident. And then when you get the confidence and the education, you're unstoppable.
Tim Sykes, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you coming on the podcast.
No, thanks for having me.
Tim Sykes, we out.